Hi, everybody. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi, joining you live today, Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, as we do, excuse me, every Tuesday, except for last Tuesday was a holiday. Today's a holiday too. This is for people that have Iranian descent or, do that kind of stuff. And I'm going to be taking off, but I didn't want to miss today's live. So it is a first day of spring, known as New Day or Nowruz, the first day of the new year, and a lot of calendars overseas. So uh, congratulations to everyone who celebrates. And just a heads up, we're going live on Facebook to take your immigration questions. Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. So we got all these different places taking your questions live as they come up. If you are watching on some places like TikTok where we get a billion questions and it's hard to keep up, I would recommend joining us on YouTube, JQK Law Firm, U.S. Immigration Talk, whatever name it is, and find that because it's you can get your questions better answered there because TikTok is such a mess. So the stream is open. We'll get your questions as they come. Let me look at the wrong spot. Okay. Immigration lawyer John Khosravi. The information here is for general education purposes only, not intended for individual legal guidance. You got to talk to a lawyer in private about your case, but what we're going to do is just give you my thoughts on the general idea of what's happening. We have a question here about a U visa. Can I apply U visa expired passport? I don't do the U visa in my firm myself. I don't know if you have to have a valid passport or not. It's something easy enough to get. Just remember one thing about U visas. I think you have to have like every page of your passport copied in there. I can't remember if it has to be a valid one. I doubt it, but I'd have to look something like that up, Mukesh. So I don't have an answer to that without looking it up. And he says, my mom has only her year of birth on her document for I-130 petition. Is that a problem? It depends on what kind of 130 it is and what you're trying to get. It's like if you're a daughter applying for your parent, you need to have her birth certificate. She'll have it. If you don't have the birth certificate, that's a separate document to issue that becomes problematic. So we'd have to get into it to see what's going on there. Miguel Castro says USCIS has not updated my case since June. What should I do? Wait. You call them, but not getting updated is pretty normal. Jay Fresh says, I lost my green card. How can I find out my numbers? You used to be able to call USCIS or go in person, ask them. You probably want to look up old documents. It's probably right there. So even if you don't know, you can file for renewal and they'll find it if you have your name, date of birth stuff. But you have to file an I-90 probably, so pay that money. Hamza asks, hi, my wife applied for an I-1 visa for me, RN. She's with me in my hometown during interview time. Can she stay with me? Can we go together or not? Well, there's a problem called the domicile requirement, which requires that the U.S. citizen or green card holding spouse be living in the United States by the time of the interview. The officers have discretion to allow your wife to come with you to the United States kind of thing. This domicile requirement issue, yes, this is a domicile requirement. So it has to be here. So that was another case I was thinking about, some other issues. But the embassy can be okay, but it's discretion. So it depends really on which embassy you're going on. What I've seen is if you're dealing with like Germany or something, they won't ask you about that. But if you're dealing with Pakistan, they're going to ask you about that most of the time. So that's the general situation with that. Can you talk about the E3 visa, please? Well, E3 is a special visa. They say President George W. Bush gave it to Australia because they joined the Iraq War. Don't know if that's true or not, but something I heard. And it allows this kind of like an H-1B visa, but much easier. No cap. And by no cap, I mean no cap season, not no cap, what the kids say. But it's a great visa if you have the proper education and job lined up. It's a really good visa to get, E3. So that's that. The possibility says I filed a mandamus in January and they asked my husband to go redo medical and bring his passport. That could, usually it's a good thing, but who knows with the government. Good evening to you as well, NG. Possibility said to Abu Dhabi now, but can he go back to Iran? Is it a good sign? Anything's possible. It's so inconsistent. I don't really have an answer. Anyway, it go anyway. Annie Laffler says all her documents have only her year of birth. This is too individual. So you got to talk with the attorney private to review the passport, birth certificate, marriage certificates, other types of documents. Or if it's not there, have secondary documents like letters from siblings and parents about the birth, medical records, hospital records from birth, maybe religious documents showing baptism or something, maybe elementary school, junior high records listing the name, date of birth, and the person. There are different ways to identify it, and you may even need to do a blood test, DNA test, or something like that. I think it's blood, but this is something that you got to talk about in private. Case Equalizer says case ready status mean. I don't know. I was asked for medical exam. Okay, then do the medical exam. Andrea says, if I'm coming back home after my third year H-2B, how long to wait to come back? There's no timelines of how long I have to wait and stuff like that. Depends on the situation and what you're trying to do. The possibility says, thank you for answering. You're welcome. Hamza follows up. How can domicile be established if she's in Pakistan with me? It can't. That's why they can deny your case. They won't deny it. They'll just say, okay, have your wife move to U.S., get a house, get a job, and then call us. That's probably what's going to happen. Having said that, I had a case that had the most massive domicile issue with it. And the officer was like, yeah, whatever, just go. So anything goes, but most likely we'll have a domicile issue. Like if you came to my office and you're paying for my services, this is something serious I'd prep with. The National Visa Center won't move the case to the embassy unless you say magic words like, hey, I'm going to establish domicile at the time of the interview. Please move the case. So if you're at an NBC stage, that's what we do. NBC is a National Visa Center. But it's going to be up to the officer and what kind of plans you have in life and which way they want to go with it. User 42 says, my fiance case has been refused on a 221G for 3.5 months. That happens. Andrew says, how long will it take for the embassy to schedule my interview? The embassy schedules the interview, and it depends on how much of a backlog they have and if they want to handle your case or not right now. Baby says, what is the wait time to get an interview? India, I don't have wait times. Andrea says, thank you, you're welcome. Hi, Trust says, hi, Heidi too. Grace says, H-1B green card process, how long does it take? I mean, depends. It could be, I mean, you H-1B cap season, if that's what you're doing, is filing right now. If you're approved by October 1st, hopefully you're here, you get the visa. But I mean, I don't know. It just depends. At this time, like questions, if y'all follow the show, it's not a question I like to answer. So I'm going to start avoiding it because there's no good answer to it. UK says, any luck on getting an embassy expedite granted due to pregnancy? No, but give it a shot. Doctor says, I am working in Canada now under CUMCA. That is affecting my citizenship later. I think you mean USMCA. I don't know. If you're a green card holder working on it could be problematic for if you're a green card holder, if you're not maintaining residency. It depends on what, if you get a reentry permit or not. And if you get if it's a U.S. employer abroad that you're working for, so there's a little nuance you could do, but because it's going to mess up your citizenship case and longer absences can cause problems for even maintaining your green card. But probably it'll be delaying your citizenship. Need another line. That's okay. Dakota. Okay. User. Good evening. If you're undocumented, can't travel to Hawaii. You can, but I can't guarantee anything. How easy is to pass U.S. citizenship? It's easy for me. I don't know if it's gonna be easy for you. So I was born a citizen, but it's not too hard at all. Naji says, how long does it take for approval after submission of medical? There's no timelines for approval based on submission of medical. Oh, Instagram. I forgot to go to Instagram, answer questions there. Okay. Sunshine says, if I have an I-551, that's a green card, should I travel or should I get a reentry to cover myself? I mean, it depends on how long. Are you going to be out for 2 years? Yeah, you need a reentry permit. But if you're going to be out for a weekend, no. Aksha says, why F4 category is slow in Pakistan? F4 category is slow everywhere. It's not a priority. It's backed up. That's really it. Okay, let's go back to TikTok. My husband is waiting for more than 6 months on 221G. What can I do? Potentially looking to suing the government. We don't do lawsuits, but that might be the thing to do depending on the case. 70 says, can I file an I-130 and K3 visa due to my spouse being overseas? Yeah, you give it a shot. Jeff said, I got a misdemeanor 6 months ago. Can I still get deported? I'm a permanent resident. Just saying something's a misdemeanor doesn't give me any information. We need to know the actual, we do analysis of the actual conviction record and what the statute was. Just saying misdemeanor is impossible to answer that. Sorry, I'm flipping through a lot of repeat questions. Do you think USCIS will lower the processing time for 6 to 1? It's not on my control. I can't really speculate on that. Mersol says, how long does it take for your approval letter to get from USC to National Visa Center? 2 to 6 weeks. Look at your I-130 approval notice and make sure you didn't mark adjustment of status, and you did say for it to go to the NBC. If you did mark adjustment of status or the approval notice says that, you got to deal with that issue. It's going to be a mess. Chong says, can parents petition for undocumented son over 21 with adjustment of status? No, you have to maintain status to be able to adjust status, unless they have some other exception like a 245I, which may be the case, but we have to look into that. Ravi says, can running from my country because of discrimination of HIV help my asylum case? I don't handle asylum cases, so I don't want to comment on that. Can one travel with advanced parole paper? I mean, that's what the goal of it is, but I can't recommend it without knowing your case. Merso says it's been over 6 weeks. So check the receipt notice. And if not, the receipt notice has information on contacting the National Visa Center if the case is not with them yet. One thing the National Visa Center has been doing is they're forgetting to email me. So it might be there, but they haven't emailed you or something, or they'll mail you a letter. What 4 weeks mean on my case, please? I don't know what that means. User 94 says, my daughter-in-law, she has deported 2 times. My son's American citizen. He can apply for her. You guys need to talk in private. It's just deportation is very serious. Click on my said, I'm still waiting for I-130, 19 months. What should I do? I don't know what kind of I-130 case you have, so I don't know if it's too long or too little. Okay. If you get work authorization, that's protect from deportation. No. I mean, if you have DACA, they not going to pursue you, but they always have the right to deport you. Click and buy says, I'm still waiting to answer that. KB says, my wife got a work permit, temporary social, blah, blah. Her I-130 got approved. Yeah, just got to wait. Okay, yes, sometimes just got to wait. Quranic says, hello, does performing military service affect green card holder applying for citizenship? Not per se. I haven't seen that happen. If you did do it as part of SEPA, getting a green card through the embassy has been problematic. I haven't seen it be problematic for citizenship. I think I had a colleague who said they had an issue with it once, but I haven't seen it myself. And it could have been other issues in that case. But the SEPA membership is like every time, you never know what's going to happen. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Iran has a arm of their military, which is called the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC, or SEPA. And the U.S., after Trump, banned these people from getting kind of visa or green card if they're going through the embassy for it. Those who are in the United States, I've seen it be okay, but the embassy system is strict on it. Halo asks, do you hear that some USCIS field officers have consistent regarding amount of Orban? I haven't heard. I wouldn't go by hearing what I heard and stuff. Kenneth says, my marriage case, I-130, March 2022 is still pending as normal. Marriage, no, that's not normal. 2 years is a lot. Sometimes it does take that long. It is what it is. I would need some more information, but sometimes it just takes forever, unfortunately. You're welcome, Sunshine. Axel says, is there any way to fasten up my F4 process? Not the priority date, but if it's an emergency thing and your priority is current, you could try to expedite the embassy appointment, but I'm not optimistic that's going to happen, but that's stuff we try out, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. LT says, with my dismissed case, do I face a risk of complication for naturalization as green card holder? I don't know what your case is. I can't make a statement that like that. I have no idea. What's the difference between 601 and 212? So the I-61A is intended for if you overstayed or you stayed 180 days or let's say a year in the U.S. without status, and you leave the U.S., you have a 3 or 10-year ban. The I-61A fix cures that. It allows you to get a green card too. And not get a green card. It's part of usually someone getting a green card. The 212 is a waiver of inadmissibility for other kinds of inadmissibility issues, particularly if you're doing a non-immigrant visa. 601s typically are for immigrant visas. I'm not a big waiver guy myself. I have a staff attorney who handles waivers alone. But like, for example, I had a fiance visa case, and we had to do a 212 for the waiver for that one. But if they were getting married, we may need to do a 6. We still would need a 2. It's complicated. There's different reasons to use these forms, especially the 212. They could have accused the person of a permanent bar, but they didn't have that. The 212 waiver could have fixed it, but they didn't need to. It's too complicated. I'm sorry, I can't explain it. It's too complicated. Plus, my nose is so stuffy. Talking complicated stuff is so hard for me. Sorry about that. All these bad colds. There's something stuffed up. Ingestion. Not indigestion. That's for stomach. What is it? In congestion. That's it. Kanasa says, my marriage case. Okay, that's that. Kashyap says, how long does it take to process I-130 on more? I don't know. That timelines, I don't know. Okay, let's see. How does, what if a person is done with an interview and the officer wants more papers and passport, submit, then you follow instructions and you do that. Victoria says, how does having an arrest for controlled substance affect citizenship through marriage? Well, you're not getting citizenship through marriage. You're getting a green card through marriage, and arrest for controlled substance is extremely bad. Rare exceptions, we could fix it. We have to see what's going on. So you need to consult an attorney that does immigration, and hopefully it'll be okay. But it could be really bad. It means you could be at permanent bans. But we have to see what exactly was going on, because the devil is in the details, as they say. Okay, we have some timeline questions. That I can't answer really. I don't know. So Gubar says, can my U.S. spouse mental issue affect my green card application? Not the case. It depends on the U.S. spouse mental health. No, it could be unique reasons. More afraid of if they have mental health issues, if they get a divorce before your green card is issued, that creates problems. So more personally, it's going to create problems. For the application process, the things that are problematic for a petitioner is if they have any child abuse, sexual abuse of children kind of issues under that Walsh Act, or that's pretty much the only thing I can stop them. There's a couple here, like previous marriage cases that were fraud or really extreme kind of situation. So a typical situation doesn't affect it. But on a personal level, if a person is not being consistent, then that's not, I've seen these relationships fall apart. That's what I'm being worried about. What is the typical cost for Q1 visa? Well, Q1s are not a typical visa, so I don't know if you know what typical cost is. I've never done one. But if you're a doctor, don't don't ask about prices. Would you want a doctor to? If clients come out to ask you about prices, you want good service, and then figure out the prices later. So make sure just the person knows what they're talking about first. For example, I wouldn't say come to me for Q1. That's not my specialty at all. I'm not interested in doing Q1 cultural exchange visas. Cultural, it's like music cultural exchange, something like that. It's not my thing. But talk with people who actually do them. I don't do them, so I don't have a good price for it. Mine says estimated time remaining until your current step. Don't trust any of the timelines they give you. Let's see. How to get a green card to work if I've been in the U.S. since 1990, but without showing up to ICE? I don't know. Where's your office? We're in Los Angeles, but we don't do any in-person kind of stuff, so our office location doesn't matter. You could just send an email or go to our website, jqqlaw.com, and fill out the contact us page, and we take it from there. User 2 says, just send my husband's DS260. How long will it take? I don't know how long it's going to take. Can I bring my grandmother from Peru if I'm a U.S. citizen? No, there's no connection. Your grandmother could apply for a tourist visa to visit you. That's about it. Chris says, would an immigrant be eligible Social Security with just an EIN? Having EIN is unrelated to Social Security. If you're an immigrant, that means you have a green card and you're getting Social Security like that. So I'm confused as to why you'd be asked that question. Cesar says, is there any way to know if USCIS has done a background check on you? Not that I know of. Efrain says, hello, good night. For the adjustment of status, they continue to prove the combo I-661, I-131. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. What is the full process after filing for I-130? If you want a full process, schedule a consultation. And I got tons of videos on YouTube about this. It's kind of too much to ask here, but essentially, if you're overseas, you wait for the I-130 be approved, then for the priority to be current, then you do consular processing. That's it. But you're going to have questions about each of those. I have videos on each of those, 10-minute, 15-minute videos on each of those things I just said. So go to YouTube page for us and you can find it there. Efrain says, I just got approved by 765. My wife got both approved. Oh, that's good. Congratulations. Richard says, I've been doing my taxes with ITIN. I finally received my work permit. What should I do now? Thank you in advance. Well, get your Social Security number and file with the Social Security number. Mixotrope says, I have a traffic ticket in Texas for running a red light. In Texas, traffic ticket is misdemeanor. Is it going to affect my citizenship application? Probably not, but I would need to read the statute in Texas. I'm in California. I've never read the Texas statute. So I need to see the conviction record, prove that you handled the ticket, and read how the statute is written. Usually a traffic ticket like that is not a problem, but I can't say it without reading the statute. So that's something a consultation is needed to see what's going on there. How does it take for doctor to schedule an embassy interview? I don't know. How many months this? I don't know. I applied, nothing yet. I know I don't have quite answer back. This is the government, and we haven't any control. If we want to sue them, or we have a political movement, which no one's apt to join anyways, we're not going to make any difference on these things. Or I'll be able to help you with timelines. Iwaro says, can you file for advanced parole if you overstayed your visa and later marry you? So yeah, we do that all the time. Some lawyers are unwilling to do it, but we do it all the time. I still would say don't travel unless you have to, but that's never been a problem. Let me go to Instagram. Actually, I've answered some questions there. Axis says, wait. Oh, yeah, I answered that. MS Legendary says, if the father of my child threatens to have me deported for seeking child support, can I take him to court? DV, we're not married. I only handle immigration law, so I can't talk about DV, domestic violence, stuff like that. Oxa says, I don't have it expected. Oxa, if you want to schedule a private consultation, set that up, but go check out the visa bulletin and check out that. What's important to know is even if the case is current, Pakistan is really backed up. So it could be years sometimes. So you get an interview literally. So this kind of case specific information at this level is just should have a consultation prior so we can talk about it. But if you want to go, I'm giving the tools, go to a visa bulletin, Department of State visa bulletin, check, see what's going on there. Jay Gotti says, are they still waiving interviews for marriage-based AOS? Yeah, we just got an approval right now. The mail is waived. So yeah, for the most part, it's not guaranteed. They are still doing some cases with interviews, but most likely they won't. Okay, let's go to Instagram. Okay, after that, let's go back to TikTok. Can you file for advanced parole if you overstay? Yeah, we just talked about that. NBC pending. Yeah, contact them, see what's going on. Can someone become a U.S. citizen with misdemeanor 5 years after crime? It depends on what the misdemeanor is. We've had a theme of that tonight. Ashrabi says NBC says 3 months for interview, but it's over 3 months now. No, I know. Can you take a flight with expired driver's license? it's up to the airline. Why don't you take your passport? I mean, you need valid ID to be able to pass TSA, so probably not. After applying from approval, when coming green card? I don't know how long they take. It varies. Now it says, is it possible to switch my F1 to visitor visa if I don't want to stay in the US anymore? You could apply, whether you approve it or not, or how long it takes to approve it, those are up in the air. But I mean, your question basically, you apply for I-539. Is there a fee for advanced parole? As of for marriage for C9 adjustment status cases, as of April 1st, there will be. I don't know timelines. How many months to approve a fiance? 18 months, 2 months. It's all over the place. Natty U says, thank you. You're welcome. If you guys want to have an in-depth consultation about, or just talk about timelines, email the office. We'll talk 20 minutes about it. There's a fee for it. But at the end of it, I'm going to say the government, so it's faster. Sometimes it's slower. And that's just really it. Anyone tells you differently, it's just not true. It's just the way it is with the government. All right, let's go back to YouTube. Which I-485 cases get interviews? Some get interviews, some don't. There's too many questions about big unknowns and privacy stuff. The interviews for I-485, typically none of my case get interviews because I get good cases and I prep the cases. Let's put it that way. But USS could randomly choose a great case. Person has 5 kids and is married to U.S. citizen. They still want to question them. People shouldn't worry about this stuff. If you get an interview, you get an interview. Focus just on living your life, having a daily success, praying with your family, eating well, exercising. Whether you're going to get an interview or not, you have absolutely no control over that. So don't even think about it. It doesn't make a difference on 99% of the cases, whether it'll be an interview or not. Can we work without a work permit? You tell me. I don't know. Somebody says mother's maiden name has a typo. It's not a big deal. They probably won't notice it. Or you can mention it's a typo. I mean, depends on how different it makes the name of the mom, but typically it's not a problem. I prefer you fix it, but sometimes when you fix it, you have to give back the original. And then, but I want to keep that original because when you fix the name, they'll reissue one with a new registration date, and USCIS will come back and say, "How come your birth certificate was issued when you were 30?" And then you have to explain, no, it was the old one. There was a typo, but then you don't have the old one anymore to prove it. I mean, maybe keep a copy, but you want the original. So if you keep the original and fix the name, it's usually doable. But just so you have both to show them what happened. I applied in April. Nothing's happened. I don't know what to tell you, King Selassie. What is the time process for getting naturalization? I don't know. Usually it's saying 2 or 3 months right now, but it could be more. Do I need a UK visa to visit UK? I don't handle UK immigration. Says, can my US son petition me and include child under 21? Your US citizen child, if they're 21 or over, can petition for you, but they cannot include siblings or your children. Carboss says, how long does it take to file for marriage with a non-citizen? How long does it take to file for it? Well, it depends on how much preparation you have. But that's a whole discussion because if you're a U.S. citizen or green card holder, where you're located, where the spouse is, what country they're from, there's just like a lot of different factors that go into this. Schedule a consultation in the office. Go to jqqlaw.com or website, jqqlaw.com, and go to the contact us page and set up a time because we just need more information to be able to answer that. Parj says, I want to apply for my brother's son, age 5 years. Can I do that without my brother applying for a green card? I don't think you can. Ewa says, can you file for advanced parole with the P3 visa? Anyone can always file for advanced parole. It's a humanitarian thing. But with the P3 visa, you have a visa to come and go. So I'm not sure why you need advanced parole. So it doesn't make sense. Maybe that does make sense if there's more information, but I don't know. Kamran says, my unmarried over 21 green card was filed 2 years ago. Work permit went to get green card. I don't know your priority date. I don't know what country you were born in, so I really can't say. Period says, I'm in the U.S. on a B1 visa and I'm married to U.S. citizen. He said, I-130. What else do I need to do? You need to download my ultimate marriage green card guide because you're kind of messing things up potentially. So go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com, download the guide and schedule a consultation. Because the question you're asking me, the information, I have like so much videos information. So if you're asking me here right now, you need to talk with me as soon as possible, or one of my associates. Please schedule a consultation. Jess says, how long does a marriage visa take? As I mentioned previously, it depends on if you're married, green card holder, or citizen. It depends on what country the foreign person is from. It depends on if they're doing consular processing or doing the U.S., if they have status violation in the past or not, if they have fraud or misrepresentation issues that need a waiver or not. And all these play a factor. And whatever number eventually I give you how long it's going to take, it could be wrong. it just could be wrong. It'll be half the time, or it'll be twice the time. There's just no way to know. All right, so we're getting a lot of timeline questions, which always it makes me want to end the show quickly. So let's get some good questions in there that have facts that I could talk about. Timelines, I just don't know. Elizabeth says, "Is there anything my sister-in-law can't do if her little is getting little is getting by the cartel?" I don't know. I don't handle cases like that. Can't answer. Franz says, "NBC asked my schedule form. What's that mean?" I don't know. I have to see what they say. The schedule consultation. They gave me 48 months while my I-75 was processing. Can I apply for citizenship now if you satisfy the requirements? Yeah, we have a lot of cases with I-75 pending where we file it, but I don't know your background. Jocelyn says, my I-130 got approved and we sent our payment to NBC. How long to get an appointment at consulate? Depends on the consulate. Do you have a defamation lawyer? No, we don't handle defamation law. My spouse visa application has been pending for over 2 years. What should I do? I don't know the details of her case and where it's pending, or if the I-130 is pending, or the embassy interview is pending, or the waiver is pending, or NBC is documents that qualify, but still no interview. I don't know what's going on. What is the schedule form? Probably is tax related, but I don't know. I have to see the whole thing. Any update on I-751? Not for you. Don says, what evidence would you say is the most important for a spousal green card case? Having 10 kids together. That could really help your case, or one at least. But it just depends on your case and your personal life. There's no most important. It's just, you got to have a marriage certificate, I guess. But it just depends on your life. Can I do a green card application myself? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what kind of case you're doing. For example, if you're doing an EB-1A extraordinary ability green card, those are self-petition to yourself. If you mean, do I need to hire a lawyer? That's up to you if you want to make that decision, but it's not impossible. But it depends on what you mean, self-petitioning or just not hiring a lawyer. The question's got to be clear. Sticky One says, what does it mean if your AOS has been transferred to the National Benefits Center? They just move your case from one place to another. My mother's green card has the wrong date of birth for 55 years. Can it be fixed? It can be fixed, but then there's a problem. Like, why didn't you get the correct date of birth at the beginning? And that could open up Pandora's box. So you'd want to think about that, whether it's at this point worth fixing. Elizabeth says, do you know if we can apply for her and her son? I don't know what you're talking about, so I don't know. What happened if I send everything all at once to USCIS? I don't know what you'd be sending that's all at once. Do you mean adjustment of status with I-130 petition? Well, if your case is current, and yeah, but if it's not, then no, they're just going to bounce back. So I don't know what you're talking about. User 4 says, my fiance case is refused on a 221G for 3.5 months. Just wait a little bit and then sue. Does your firm do delay lawsuits? We don't do those. Dan says, my mom just got approved IR5, but I have 2 little bros. How can I get them to follow join? You can't do follow join for your kind of case. Your mom's got to turn around and apply for them and potentially try to apply for like humanitarian parole so they come to US faster. It's probably not going to get approved, but that's something to do. Sunita says, what are the forms you have to fill out for my fiance when he arrives? It's all there. I mean, when I get that question, it's honestly, it's the first level question. So all the information is online, and I hesitate to tell you what to do here because the information is so available online that I'm like, if you're asking that, then it's probably better I just handle the case, or our firm handles the case. We have a guide on this stuff called the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. Go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com, marriageimmigrationlaw.com, and then schedule a consultation. It's probably the best thing to do to just make sure your stuff's done right to avoid problems. Jay Fresh says, have a green card, got misdemeanor 6 years ago. Can I get reported as the fourth one without just saying a misdemeanor? Like I have a client right now. I can't show you, but it's actually this case right here. She got a ticket for driving without a license. It's not a big deal. They should have just given her an infraction, which is pay a fee. But for some reason, the police officer in the court gave her a misdemeanor. Now in California, the misdemeanor statute is in no way something that causes inadmissibility, so it's fine. But it's shocking that they put a misdemeanor on there, because at that sometimes there's like people trying to kill somebody, attempted manslaughter could be a misdemeanor sometimes. So when you say misdemeanor, it doesn't give me any direction. Are you trying to kill somebody, or did you just drive without a license? You forgot your license at home. So when people say, lawyer, I need to know the exact stuff, and that's why these forms are so hard to give it. But we got to see what's going on. And if it's a crime that's analyzed based on the statute and how it's worded, that's what it's based on. Let me give you an example. A lot of places in America, there's the rules against, selling drugs or using drugs and all that kind of stuff. And there's a series of court cases growing across the country in that the statute, and I don't do these cases, so I can't explain the best, but apparently when you look at the chemistry of like the molecules of some of these drugs, some of them, like are not considered drugs or something, or the way the rules are written by the government, it includes a whole set of stuff that are not drugs because of the chemistry of them, like the molecules. And because the rule is badly written, they just threw out the whole rule. So all of a sudden, all these people who are selling Coke are doing okay, and they have to redo the rule and stuff. So I did a very bad job explaining it because I just say no to these cases when they come to me. But we got to see exactly what's going on, under which statute it is, if that statute has been challenged to. For example, you might have got a misdemeanor for something else bad, but they realized the rule was written wrong or they executed wrong in your case, and it might be okay, may or may not be. So there's different levels of complexity that get jumped in there, and it's something you just can't answer off the bat. Like, yes, it's okay because it's a misdemeanor, because it's not true. I would need to review what's going on. All right, let's go to Instagram and see if we got some questions here. Lily asks, hi, John, can you contact USCIS in order to get a live agent? Calling their number, you are directed to robot. Yeah, ask for an info pass appointment, and I'll get you to a person. But don't tell anybody I told you. Hassan says, what is the best way for married green card holder B1, B2 visas in the U.S. outside the USA? I mean, if you're going to get married, Hassan, schedule a private consultation. I'm not clear exactly what you're trying to get to, and this is a bigger thing going on. So go to our website, jqqlaw.com, and fill out the contact us page, and we'll follow up. And also go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com, download our guide. That probably answer your question. But this some stuff going on which you're asking. I prefer that I have a private consultation. Chris says, I'm a U.S. citizen with a Philippine fiance. She has a 5-year ban, which is over in June. Does the ban make fiance visa harder in 5 years? Well, it depends on what the 5-year ban is. Typically, a 5-year ban is given because of like expedited removal, which is like she came to the border and they kicked her out for something, like they thought she was going to work. So that could lead to a 5-year ban. On the other end, if she lied to an officer and they found out she was working and they banned her for the working, they might accuse her of misrepresentation or fraud. And that's not a 5-year ban. That's like a permanent ban, which requires you to then have to apply for a waiver, and which adds 2 to 4 years to the process. So you really need to talk with the immigration attorney as soon as possible. Yeah, exactly. You say 5-year ban was caused because she worked when she was here previously. She didn't lie. Okay, so that's good. You got to have the transcript of when they banned her. It'll reference what their accusations were, because the embassy, especially in the Philippines, they'll take forever to get an interview anyway, so they're backed up, and they're not inclined to be listening to your perspective always. I've seen that there. So you need to have like good explanation of what happened, admission, whatever it is. But the key is make sure there's no fraud finding, because they'll just accuse you of that, and then you're really screwed. But if it would just work, if she never filed an I-539 to say, she never lied about it on a DS-160 or something, then as the 5 years done, it's all good. But you just got to be careful. It's really about looking into the history to see if there's no problems there. I have the PDF. She also has a high up government friends. They help in PH. The idea of having like connections and stuff. I had a client who his dad was like the richest person in his country, and he would have dinner with the ambassador of the U.S. every day. And the son, a little bit of mess, as you imagine a spoiled child would have. But it wasn't really his fault. His friends had done stupid stuff, and they like for some reason he got caught up in it, which he really shows obviously shouldn't have. I have to speak very vaguely about this. But anyways, we couldn't fix it at the embassy, but he's like, my dad knows the ambassador. So the dad had dinner with the ambassador. Ambassador's like, yeah, just come by the embassy tomorrow. We'll get you a visa. And he came there. Then the consular officer being like, no, because like what happens with embassy, we got to end the show. We're running late. But when it comes to the embassy, the consular officer you talk with at the front has full right and discretion to approve or deny you. And the supervisors, under almost 99% of the cases, cannot overrule you. So if they say to him it's wrong, then that issue is going to persist, which sucks really. But that's the way it is. So yeah, if you have high up friends, give it a shot. Most likely, if that 5-year period has ended, it should be okay. The bigger problem with the Philippines is just huge delays in getting an embassy appointment, and then accepting that your marriage is real. It's not some fake marriage. But Cesar says, good show. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. You have a lot more questions pop in, a lot more, but unfortunately, I got to go. We got to celebrate Nowruz. Happy New Year. First day of spring. The spring equinox is starting in a couple hours. I got to go with family. Appreciate everyone who showed up. We'll be back again next week, Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. If you want to contact or may schedule a consultation with me or one of my associates, go to our website, jqqlaw.com, J as in Jack, Q as in Queen, K as in King, law.com. And we have a contact us page, fill in your name and stuff like that. And we take it from there. I appreciate you showed up. Sorry if I couldn't get your question, but we'll be back next Tuesday and we'll take it there, or schedule a consultation and we'll get to you faster. Until next one, have a good one. Bye-bye.